All right, let's get started, guys. Welcome everyone to this week's edition of our AMA report covering both technical and fundamental analysis of the crypto market. My name is William, head of XT Academy, and of course, as usual, your AMA host. Now, before we get started, a little bit of an introduction about the exchange. The company was founded in 2018, currently serves more than 7.8 million registered users worldwide. If you haven't opened an account yet, definitely come check it out. We have all these exciting new token listings every week. Definitely go check them out. I think some of them are pretty prominent. Some of them, well, you do your own homework. All right. So that being said, I do have some interesting news about the XD and their new services and products related to the rebranding. And as of right now, the company is offering a promotion where users can subscribe to their proof of stake staking financial products and basically share a piece of the $66,000 prize pool. All right, so currently the event runs from May 30th, just yesterday, to June 12th. So you still got plenty of time to participate. Do keep in mind that participants who subscribe to the POS staking products with amounts ranging from $100 over 3,000 US dollars can earn a share of the prize pool based on their subscription amount. So do keep in mind from $100 to $3,000. All right. Now, of course, that's based on the subscription amount that's involved, right? So do keep in mind that users who also complete their subscription and post a screenshot in the official XT Telegram group will be eligible to share an extra 6,000 US dollars in cash rewards. All right, so that's huge. All right, so the rewards distributed as XT tokens, they will be credited to the winner spot accounts within 1 week after the event ends. All right, so if you are interested in staking products on exchanges and you're already doing so when you have like a good solid, more than $100 worth, then this may be something for you. And if you are interested in an extra $6,000 potential earnings, or at least a piece of it, definitely feel free to take a screenshot of what you're doing and then share it on XT Telegram. All right. That being said, I did mention a whole bunch of new token listings. Definitely go check them out. Please be advised that we are going back to the educational AMAs. This is not financial advice. The Wednesday one was kind of like a rare situation where I wanted to give you guys a little bit about just my 2 cents in terms of different strategies for investing. But of course, from today onwards, of course, we're heading back to the educational topics. So officially, these are not financial advice. This is my analysis and thoughts of the crypto market, for purely for educational purposes only. I've been in the Web3 industry for about 4.5 years, almost 5 years now. So yeah, and I do my trading as well. But of course, at the end of the day, after hearing my thoughts and analysis, please do your own homework. That said, welcome back to our technical analysis segment, guys. We're going to do some technical analysis on with different time horizons. All right, this is where I'm going to dive deep into the world of crypto trading. And if you're a trader, this is perfect for you. If you're not a trader, well, at least listen up for the 1-day chart and the 1-week chart. All right. So today, I'm hopefully going to share you some insights and hopefully give you a little bit of my analysis. Or at least this way, you have something kind of to compare to your own. All right, the very first time horizon that we're going to talk about is the 4-hour time frame. This is a time frame that every single trader should be looking at, even if you're scalping. I don't care if you're scalping, you're looking at the 1 minute, 2 minute, like 30-second chart. You should still be looking at the 4-hour. I mean, that's like your macro for like day traders of the 4 hours. So you actually have a good idea where long term where things where the trend is going. All right. If you are an investor, you're not a day trader, or if you're maybe even a swing trader, okay, this is actually more applicable to you. If you're an investor, 4 hours, it just doesn't make sense. All right. I always have to make sure that you guys know that, or else, you're listening to me give you this analysis. It just doesn't make sense if you're more the long-term trade investor and not a trader. That being said, the 4-hour time frame. Now we are going to talk about Bitcoin, because if you understand Bitcoin, you understand the whole market, because due to its current market dominance. All right, so Bitcoin right now, it is showing signs on the 4-hour chart, concluding its current recent downward trend. All right, and I think it's positioning an upward movement soon enough. We are like 68.2K right now. We're holding that like for for pretty long, right? The current price, it's holding above like the key 67.5K. And of course, 67, even drops below 67K, I get just a little bit worried, right? Then I look at like macro factors trying to figure out why on earth are we dropping below 67K. That's a really critical support line. But as of right now, we have not touched 67.5. And if we did, like, we're not touching the critical 67.1K. So those support zones are critical, all right? They are critical. If we dip below 67K, I would probably be hands off and I'll just be waiting for it to drop a lot more to pick up the bottom. All right. But do keep in mind, I'm talking the 4-hour chart. All right. If you, even if like Bitcoin does take a massive dump to like 62, we're still talking about this 4-hour chart, right? This is like really short term. Like in the next like 2 days might be more relevant, but the next 2.5 days, right? So, like I said, the support zones, they're critical for providing that strong long-term foundation for our current bullish trend to continue, and of course for the potential price to increase, right? And of course the confluence around these support levels, when I'm talking specifically about the 67.5 and 67.1, 67K-ish, they include the trend line of the 38.2% Fibonacci retracement level, right? So like that really strengthens the likelihood of up nice bounds. All right, so for those who are not familiar with the Fibonacci retracement level, definitely go check it out. I think that's something that like a lot of serious traders always have to learn about. And once you get really comfortable with Fibonacci retracement level, you're probably not going to be using it as much as you think you would. Anyways, talking about the moving averages on the 4-hour chart, though, I do think that like this is still bearish. We're the 50-day moving average is just sloping downward, just ever so slightly, right? And I think that it just indicates a really short-term downward pressure. That's nothing that's healthy, guys. However, do keep in mind that the 200-day moving average is sloping upward, all right? So as much as you want to be concerned with 50-day moving average on the 4-hour chart, the 200-day is taking care of us right now. It's taking care of the bull market, all right? And this really suggests a strong underlying trend since May, about like a week ago, since May 25th, 26th. I do think that we do have this divergence between the short-term and the long-term moving average points to more of a potential support at the lower levels, and I think that's like a really strong, good indicator where, like, if those who still haven't gotten their stables in, buyers would definitely be able to step in that regard, right? But remember, keep in mind, this is 4 hours, all right? By the time you look at the chart like 2.5 days later, 4 hours is insignificant, all right? But do keep in mind, if you're a trader, that you should be looking at this. Even if you're scalping, I don't care if you're scalping in the 1-minute chart, you should be still looking at the 4-hour chart, have a macro wholesome view, and then get back to your scalping, right? All right. And then of course the RSI, we are looking at like around like 44 right now, 44.2, and it is slowly aiming to surpass around 45. That's what I see, okay? And I do think that sooner or later on the 4-hour chart, we're going to break the 50 mark, okay? That does indicate like, that slight little selling pressure is decreasing, and then I do see that reversal towards a more of a neutral, right? Like 50, it's just neutral. It's not good, it's not bad, it's just neutral, right? Unless I start seeing like 57, 58, like 60, I believe above 60, there's nothing to even talk about like overselling in that regard, right? So this is more of like a small little bullish stance, and I think it could be imminent because we are yet again talking about the 4-hour chart, right? This rise in the RSI, if we do it like once we go over 50, though, do keep in mind that like this signal does increase like a more of a buying momentum, and more in terms of like instead of saying like, oh, it's like overbought territory, right? Like I said, anything between 40 and 60, this is just purely neutral because we're talking about the 4-hour chart, right? This really just enforced like the whole potential of basically an upward price move, and that's what I'm expecting the next 2.5 days. And consider the fact that today is Friday, we're not going to see like any like outflows or inflows in the ETF because it's the weekend, guys. All right, so if we're neutral today, we're gonna stay neutral for a little while until next Monday, and then like if something happens over the weekend, I have no doubt that we're gonna start seeing like massive inflows in Bitcoin. All right, But that being said, definitely like keep your eyes peeled for that. All right, so that's my spiel for the 4 hour chart. Like I said, guys, this is the 4 hour. If you're not a trader, this is almost irrelevant for you unless like you're preparing for like fiat on ramp for the next 2 days and you just want to get your money in before something happens next week. Other than if that's not the case, you should not be worried about 4 hour charts. I mean, you'd be barely looking at the 6 hour. No joke. I keep telling that to like my someone like some of my students I have to tutor at the Japanese IT schools. Like when we go over we have this one course on technical analysis. I keep telling them like guys, look, you're going to be sucked into looking at these smaller time frames, but if you're not like a professional day trader, 4 hours is irrelevant, and they don't listen to me. They still look at the 4 hour chart, and then they come back to me like a few days later, like asking me about like something about technical analysis. I tell them, yeah, it's because you're looking at the 4 hour chart, right? All right, so that's my spiel to 4 hour. It's great for traders, but like if you're an investor and you're not, at least swing trading, you should be looking at this. That being said, let's jump into the 1 day time frame. All right, so this is applicable to everyone. Excuse me, especially if you're getting your paycheck like bi-monthly, twice a month. Yeah, you should be using a little bit of your bi-monthly paycheck to put a little bit in crypto right now. Even if you're like me, you only get paid once a month because that's just how your government, your country operates. Then that's 1 day time frame is totally fine too, because I'm just assuming that you're taking a certain amount of your savings and you're buying crypto or buying specific positions. Doesn't have to be Bitcoin, right? Like throughout the whole 30 days until your next paycheck. That's what you should be doing. If you're not doing that, then guys, you guys got to get your liquidity. And if for anyone who actually been listening to my AMA for the last like 2-3 months, you guys should be hearing that I've been saying that I've been expecting the consolidation phase, macro consolidation phase, to take about like maybe 2 months, maybe maximum 3. As of right now, I don't think we're not going to take that long. Okay, so if you're looking at the 1 day time frame and you're still trying to figure out when to get in, you should get getting in soon, because we have the Ethereum spot ETFs, the S1s filings are literally getting in today. BlackRock already got them in today. All right, I don't know if the Ethereum is the S1 filing is gonna start have these approvals and have their money up and running for trading like the next week, the next 2 weeks. I'm never gonna find out, but you know what? I'd rather be safe than sorry. So get your money on fiat on ramp done and get your buy orders in, because I do not expect this this consultancy phase to last any longer. I don't get like some of the other analysts actually think that it's gonna take like 3-4 months. Yeah, there's no way. That's ridiculous. All right, I'm so sorry. I got a little bit off track, but 1 day time frame. That's right. Let's just go back to my analysis here. So the on the day chart, like Bitcoin, it's pure bullish, just pure bullish. All right. Okay, so the 50-day moving average is currently sloping downwards. Yeah, whatever. It's not a big issue, but look at it. It's just support. It's just holding support right now during the next interaction. Meanwhile, though, I do think that the 200-day moving average is sloping upwards, just like the 4 hour time chart, right? Because we're just zooming out, and this is strong long-term trend. So if you're gonna compare the 4 hour to the 1 day, it's obviously you're looking at the 1 day because there's just stronger information. There's more information consolidated, right? So the 200 moving average is just being the lower price. That just serves huge critical support level. I would be putting buy orders around that area. It doesn't even have to be Bitcoin. You can just touch go find your favorite altcoin with a relatively large market cap and just put a whole bunch of buy orders near the 200-day moving average. And if you get lucky, we dip down, you scoop up everything on the discount, all right? If you do take a look at the RSI on the 1 day chart there, right, we are entering more of a critical time interval, right? And I do think that this whole reversal is towards the 60s in the next few days, even maybe 3-4 days. All right, I'm going to do a little bit of a extension here. So I do think that the shift in the RSI would indicate a very how should I say, more of a transition from more a bearish to bullish sentiment in the next 2 weeks, right? And this really aligns with the support levels and moving averages that we're looking at, suggesting, of course, a very nice and healthy upward price movement. All right. That being said, though, I do think we did have this nice little peak recently near 22,000, almost 22,000. And of course, we got rejected there, the 72K. Did I say 22K? I'm so sorry. We did get rejected in the 72K. If we got rejected 22K, I'd be buying like crazy, right? All right. So the crypto right now, excuse me, we are finding support around 67, as I mentioned earlier. Like we're not too far from current support. So let's see, what are we at right now? 68.2. Yeah, that's nothing, right? And of course, we look at the 21 a moving average, right? So if you guys are buyers are trying to overcome the 72 resistance, I think like the next one is easily like 78, 70, 78, it's almost 79, 79K. I think that's like a nice part to pertain. However, do keep in mind that if BTC fails to maintain this current position moving as, yeah, we can dip down easily, no problem. We'll probably hit all the way back. We'll break the 67K support and we'll drop all the way down. I'm not too sure if we will drop all the way down like 62 or 60. I think that's a little bit like extravagant, excessive. I would probably be putting a lot of my buy orders around 64K. I think that's more reasonable. But like, hey, you do you, I do me, do your homework. But you know, it doesn't never hurts to put like a bunch of buy orders, some a little bit 64. If you get lucky, if you do like a quick little dip down to 62 and pull back up, hey, you got an extra discount, right? So it doesn't hurt. But I think like putting around like buy orders on the 64K, if you are looking at the day chart to invest, I think that's just pretty reasonable, assuming that we do get rejected in the 72K one more time. Yeah, we'll get hit back down for a little nice little vacation, buy a little buy vacation, buy a little bit 64, put a little, hopefully, you know, flash crashes 62, you pick up a little bit there. And then I just don't see us breaking the 60 at this point. Like that's just a little bit unrealistic, but feel free to put some buy orders around there too. All right. That being said, I'm going to jump into my 1 week time frame. This is just perfect for people who are just busy. Like I'm busy. I don't really have time to like trade as much as I used to. Especially, it's just what happens when you work for essential. You know, when you work for like your parent company's essential exchange, and when the bear bull market comes, you just get so busy. So if you're like me, or if you have kids, or if you're doing like you're just busy with life and work or whatever, and you don't have time to swing trade or even day trade, then that's totally fine. You should be looking at the 1 week time frame, right? But that being said, yeah, Bitcoin is just pure bullish, right? Like this is like no brainer. I'm sorry, like that's like giving you no information if I tell you Bitcoin's bullish right now, right? But both the 50-day and 200-day moving averages, they're just both upward. Like I said, this is just no brainer. All right, so right now, like we're not too worried about it right now. Like the 50-day moving average is currently below the price, and I think that provides strong support level. You should be putting your buy orders around that area. Not, I think it's a little bit insane to be suggesting putting buy orders near the 200-day moving average on the 1 week time frame, because unless like all hell breaks loose, I really don't see us touching anything that. But it's been going up. It has this upward 200 moving day average trend since last year November, guys, beginning November for even, right? So I think that's just it's just bullish. Like I said, I'm not telling you any helpful information here because this should be obvious even to the beginner, right? The weekly RSI is within the 30-70 neutral zone, and I do think that indicates more of a balanced market. We're not going anything crazy. We're not going parabolic anytime soon. And basically, that RSI position really suggests that Bitcoin basically has a lot more room to move upwards. Yes, and that's what I've been telling all my cousins and aunts and in Taiwan and Canada to buy crypto. Like they're just gosh. So if you please do your family a favor, and if they have anyone's like working, they're not in crypto, please tell them to just buy Bitcoin. All right, I know it's been up for quite a bit. If you compare like Ethereum, like it's up a lot even more, but still, like, look, it's just the right store of value instead of like holding their fiat currencies in the bank. All right, so because we have this strong bullish scenario, and once momentum picks up, we're gonna skyrocket. All right, so please tell your just even if that means like just buying a little, like $50, $20, whatever, just get their feet wet, right? If you take the MAC, I love looking at the MACD indicator on the MACD, right? But that being said, excuse me, it doesn't really show right now any specific bearish or bullish diversions. And I think that really just indicates more of like a lack of a clear momentum, right? And that makes sense to me. We're going sideways, right? Even if you zoom out, you're thinking like, how is this going sideways? Going like we're ping-ponging back and forth from. the total market cap, excuse me. But however, do keep in mind that like the absence of the bearish signal in the MACD indicator, that shows strong moving average trends, all right? And that's stable and bullish. And that's what we like right now because we are consolidating, all right? So all in all, guys, like I think if you take a, like if you're looking at 4 hours, 1 day and 1 week, you're using like a bunch of like mixed signals with short-term bearish pressure. But of course, you also see a very long-term, strong long-term bullish trend, right? Of course, right now I'm looking at the 67.5K support as well as the 67.1K, 67K, just call it that. And then like if we don't break that, like we're safe, guys. But if we do break that, like I am pulling some money to put on into to buy the dip, all right? So rejoice if Bitcoin breaks 67K. Like you should be happy, not sad. This is like almost your last opportunity to buy crypto before it go parabolic. No joke. So, and if your cousins and aunts and don't understand crypto, that's fine. Just tell them to help them open an account, preferably XT, and just tell them to buy some Bitcoin. Just that's it. Just stick to Bitcoin. That's it. All right. It's just the safest thing out there. And then once they do that, once they get comfortable, that you can always show them how to use a wallet and whatnot. All right. So that's my spiel for today's technical analysis section. Hopefully my analysis has helped you. I'll give you more of like a second opinion because I'm just assuming that you guys are doing your own homework. Of course, I can be wrong, so like that's why I said do your homework. This is just a second opinion. I've yet to be like a little bit like off because I haven't seen any like black swan events or anything. So thank God we don't have like COVID or anything. But if we do have like kind of I don't know some kind of skirmish or war, so World War III or whatever. Gosh, like let's just hope it doesn't. But if it does, like you better have some stables aside to buy the dip, right? All right. So that being said, let's jump into the fundamental analysis section. This week, I'm gonna do something just a little bit different. So up until now, guys, I've been talking about like various different projects in the top 100, top 200 in terms of market cap, right? And I've just thought like, this section has been a little bit boring because it doesn't like at the end of the day, it kind of seems like I'm telling you guys, oh, maybe you should like sell your current position and buy this new token because it has better fundamental analysis. Like, I think that's like the wrong way to help you guys educate and really understand what's been going on the last 7 days. So this week for the fundamental analysis section, I am going to incorporate a lot more but crypto related, but non-crypto project news. So this way, if you guys haven't been staying updated at all, at the very least, when you listen in this Friday AMA, you are up to date. You know exactly what are the top 3 most important stuff that's going on that's specifically related to traditional finance and into the Web3 industry. The very first one that I do want to talk about is the institutional inflows, all right? This is big. And this is specifically related to not only the Bitcoin spot ETF, is also because the spot Ethereum ETFs. I mentioned earlier, guys, if you guys haven't seen the news yet, the BlackRock has revised their S1 filing, all right? And once that S1 filing is accepted and approved, all right, they can start trading. So we could easily see like the spot Ethereum ETFs up and running literally in 2 weeks. Like it could be next week for all I know, right? I know Gary Gensler's not too happy about this, but like it wasn't his decision, unfortunately. But that being said, even the latest, like maybe like another like month, we're gonna see a whole bunch of other like institutionals, companies trying to get their S1 filing in. Now that BlackRock has gotten in, they're just gonna like basically copy and revise. Basically, they've already done like most of the hard work, right? Since that's all information is public. So like we are gonna see a lot more inflows. If you're gonna be more of like a wiser investor, I think like buying Ethereum right now, even though it seems like it's near like the 2021 all-time high, is a smart move. Like just take a look at like the January Bitcoin spot inflows and the price action of Bitcoin right before a little like 4 weeks before and 4 weeks after the spot Bitcoin ETFs have launched. Like it was a nice positive price action. And now we have another opportunity. If you missed Bitcoin in January, look, you got Ethereum spot ETF. And even the greater thing about this part is that Ethereum has a much more smaller market cap compared to Bitcoin, so the price action is going to be much, much more amazing. I did mention last week, last Friday, that like once we start having spot Ethereum ETFs, when you have the mother Ethereum layer one assets start pumping everything that was like deployed long term, anything that holds a lot of ETH coins, like Lido Finance or Aave, right? Like these DeFi platforms have a bunch of Ethereum locked. So what happens when Ethereum pumps? Guess what's happened to these specific protocols that have a lot of Ethereum? They pump really hard. So, but of course, in order for that to happen, what's happening behind is the liquidity from traditional finance, right? So do keep in mind that when this institutional investors, when they're making serious moves, we're gonna start seeing like easily 1 billion inflow in the last week, guys, right? That drove literally the total of the whole 2024 this year's inflows to almost 15 billion. That's insane for 5 months, all right? Like you just can't have that much money like inflowing in crypto just with like retail investors or traders. Like this is impossible. So that is a record high already. But with spot Bitcoin ETFs coming out, I think this is going to change a lot. This is going to change really quickly. We're going to see huge surge in institutional purchases. We're going to hit like 36 million easily since last March, and that was fueled by the whole SEC approval, right? So, and I think this is just going to reignite institutional interest in the cryptocurrency, right? So, of course, Bitcoin is still the top pick for institutional investors, and of course, with that extra 1 billion added to portfolios just last week, guys, we're going to push easily the inflows to over like 15 billion, like easily, and especially now we've got like all the investors' interest in Bitcoin. They would love to diversify in Ethereum. Sadly, that they don't really have like the whole like staking rewards, so they can't really earn yields through the spot Ethereum ETF. But it is what it is, right? Surprisingly, there has been like a significant slowdown, and this is the best part in the last 3 days. So for those who haven't checked, definitely check out the Grayscale's outflows in the last literally last 3-4 days. This whole week, it's slowing down, and it's the funniest part though is that especially the last 3 days, literally Thursday, Wednesday, and Tuesday, the outflows of Grayscale from the Grayscale Bitcoin ETF is like more or less the same amount as the BlackRock's inflow. So money is not going out of the ecosystem. We're not leaking liquidity here. They're just being shuffled around, all right? And sometimes the shuffle takes a little bit of time, maybe a day, maybe at most like a day. But you know what? Look, the money is staying in Web3. That's a bit most important thing. So you do see Grayscale, they only lost about 50 million of outflows last week. And that's a huge contrast compared to last month. So we see this, of course, some people took profits last month, right? Obviously. But that's not everyone. Money's still now pretty much staying into the ecosystem, right? Excuse me. All right, so in a nutshell, guys, like institutional investors, they're fueling up right now. You should be too, as an individual retail investor. It's specifically Bitcoin, Ethereum, because that's what's on the table for them. I think that the approval of the spot Ethereum ETF it's going to definitely reignite interest among the huge big players out there. So while you do see Bitcoin remains for still the go-to choice for institutional investment, especially those who are a lot more conservative in TradFi, you do see that slowing outflows from the Grayscale spot Bitcoin ETF suggests pretty much a potential shift in the huge sentiment right now. Now, however, do keep in mind that when we start seeing this diverse investment strategies coming out from these institutions, and they're gonna be like, oh well, since we already have some money in spot Bitcoin ETF, why don't we just put some in spot Ethereum ETF? Considering the fact that has a lot more growth potential, you're gonna see this market landscape completely shift and be a lot more dynamic than what we've seen the last 5 months. So I'm really excited. And that's also the reason why I'm really trying to get as much of my liquidity on chain and in buying orders as quick as possible, because I think the chance to actually buy this consolidation phase before we go bear rise it's not too long from now. All right. Okay, that being said, I think that's enough about Bitcoin, Ethereum. I don't want to get too much into that. Let's talk a little bit about something really interesting, and that's about the whole stablecoin economy and specific services that are currently available right now. So those who've been paying attention just last few days, PayPal, yes, a traditional financial company. They're expanding their offering right now with a new stablecoin called PYUSD, right? I guess that stands for PayPal USD. Now, here's the funny thing. Here's the really funny thing. Guess who actually deployed this stablecoin for PayPal? It's Paxos. So if that company actually sounds familiar, it's actually because they were the ones who were behind Binance USD stablecoin, right? Last year before, I think it was like June or July, and then they kind of like I think like it was the SEC started like targeting Binance, saying like sorry, they weren't targeting Binance, they targeted Paxos directly for saying like this BUSD was actually illegal and all that stuff, and you're not like compliant and you're not transparent enough. So Paxos got freaked out. They said like, yeah, I'm sorry, we can't do this non-compliant stuff. Consider we got called out, so they stopped collaborating with Binance. Hey, I hated that. I used to use a Binance long ago, and I used to hold BUSD. Don't get me wrong, right? But they got targeted. So next thing you know, you saw Paxos break business relationships with Binance. Sadly, but guess what? Paxos, they weren't ready to exit. There's money to be made, so much money to be made at stablecoin industry. Guess what? They're in bed with another girl, and this time it's with PayPal, right? They were serious to actually stay in the stablecoin industry long term, and the one way to do it is to make sure that they're as compliant as ever. And that's actually, they found a new partner, and that's why you see PYUSD right now, right? This is like, I think they have right now, they have like about 430 million users globally. So that's huge, right? But you have to keep in mind, those 430 million global users of PayPal, they're not necessarily into crypto, which is the beauty of it. What's the beauty of how Paxos end up partnering with PayPal, because they get to onboard so many people. So instead of telling 430 million people, hey, make an account at XD, make an account with some cryptocurrency exchange, they already have that ability to convert their US dollars or whatever fiat currency in their PayPal account into PYUSD. That is just amazing. That's super good, bullish for all of us, right? Because at the end of the day, once you have more liquidity, that's actually once you start seeing everything going parabolic rise, right? Because that's the same reason why you see traditional real estate prices are soaring, and the same reason why you start seeing liquidity pouring into NFT sector. People made money. People have money to invest in these, these assets, right? So I think as of right now, we have I think PYUSD is about let me just quickly check, is that's the 12th largest stablecoin by market capitalization, right? And it's currently already available on 22 major exchanges. I think that's just amazing, considering they just opened. But here's the kicker, guys. Here's the kicker. This is what I really want to highlight. Instead of deploying it as an ERC20 token on Ethereum, instead of deploying it as maybe a Rune coin on on layer 2 Bitcoin. Guess what? Yes, they they actually applied it as an SLP token on the Solana. Now, up until now, when you actually deploy a new stablecoin, you tend to see it on the Ethereum layer 1. And once you actually get that liquidity down, let that major adoption down on those using Ethereum layer 1, then you start seeing them porting to Solana and other chains. But this time they went directly to Solana. That just says so much confidence in the Solana layer 1 blockchain. So if you don't have a big position in Solana, if you got I'm gonna say this directly, I'm not trying to shill Solana, but just for I just think it's just the wiser thing to do, especially when it comes down to risk to reward ratio. I think Solana is actually hands down the best one right now in terms of risk to reward ratio. Yeah, it's higher risk compared to Bitcoin and Ethereum, but the rewards ratio, we've taken into consideration the ratio between the rewards, it's so worth it. So if you don't have Solana as one of your top 10 positions in your crypto portfolio, I don't know what you guys are doing, right? So definitely, please take that into account. If you know that means you need to shuffle your liquidity around, I think that's something that you guys need to take a look into, the risk to reward ratio in terms of specific blockchains' total market cap compared to all the other blockchains out there, as well as their space for further growth, right? All right. So that's something definitely look into. And now that we have more liquidity on Solana because of this new PYUSD stablecoin, I think you're going to see, of course, that just re-justifies that the potential reward, potential space for growth that Solana will have, even though it's currently suffering from excessive adoption. One of my good trading friends, he actually does like STEPN, that shoe game, right, where you walk around your coin. And he was just like, he sent me a screenshot just a few days ago telling me like, oh, hey, Will, do you have any idea why, my transaction is not going? It says it's going through, but if you look on chain, it's not going through. He sent me a screenshot of him making like a swap on using the STEPN inside the STEPN game, right? The app, the DApp, excuse me. And I was just like, giggling a little bit because it finally went through at the end. It just took a few hours because Solana is just having massive adoption growth right now. So, like I said, they have a quality problem, a high quality problem. It's not a low quality problem. So for those who are looking at like all these fear and doubt terms of Solana because of their network failures, it's a problem, but it's a high quality problem, right? So please understand, you got to understand these problems through different levels of analysis. It's not a low quality problem where there's not enough users on the network. That really just reminds me of the recent Algorand commercial. Anyway, if you guys haven't checked it out, definitely go check out the Algorand commercial. And they're trying to make fun of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. I just thought it was really funny. Anyways, so getting back in the main topic, I do think that this PYUSD integration in Solana, it really highlights PayPal's commitment to really providing all their 430 million users worldwide for very seamless access to, of course, digital cryptocurrencies, especially those who are not into crypto. And I think that just says a lot into really helping the traditional the Web2 users, those who are not into crypto, to really getting on board, especially start investing and using cryptocurrencies as a store of value. Or sooner or later, you're going to see as a medium exchange. That's going to be amazing. All right, the last but not least, that's really something interesting that I haven't actually been interested in a long time until now is a new Ethereum a token standard. And right now we have a new one that's just been introduced. It's the ERC 7683 token standard. And this new standard basically aims to really help cross-chain trading, right? And what was it? It was Uniswap and the Cross Protocol team. I'm not too familiar with the Cross Protocol, so unfortunately I won't be able to speak too much about that. But I do know Uniswap in and out. So that being said, I do think that this is going to make things really interesting, this specific token standard. I think this was going to be necessary sooner or later, considering that we see so many layer 2s on Ethereum right now. I think that the most relevant one newest one and most relevant one that actually just popped out was what was it? It was Blast ecosystem, right? I remember doing an AMA for that just like a month and a half ago or something. And then of course you got like Polygon, they actually provide like their development kit to help other people onboard new layer 2s. And then once you get more and more, so what happens is once you have a lot of like layer 2s solutions, layer 2 blockchains building on Ethereum, you start basically experiencing this like macro issue called a fragmentation, right? And you have liquidity that's fragmented across a bunch of layer 2, of course, the layer 1 network, Ethereum layer 1 as well. And that basically just says you need to have a much more better ways to communicate between one layer 2 and another layer 2 to ensure that liquidity is seamless, right? And it's not stuck in one chain or another. This new Ethereum token standard basically allows people to swap across-chain to execute them just with one signing. And this really follows a more of like and it basically allows like liquidity to what's the good word I'm looking for? To congregate as like more of like an escrow account, like a banking escrow account. And so you guys, in a way, you can see it as a more like a settlement layer for in between layer 2 blockchains. I think that's really cool because basically liquidity providers, they basically act as these fillers, basically complete to facilitate all these like cross-chain cross blockchain trade settlements, right? And I think at the end of the day, this really helps with liquidity, especially for those layer twos that still need, a lot more adoption compared to some of the other prominent ones like Arbitrum and Base, right? So now that what was it, Uniswap and Cross Protocol has proposed this new standards for cross chains, trades and transactions, I think we're going to see a lot more ERC 7682, 7683 adoption. I'm really excited to see where this new token standard is going to start being adopted by other layer two, even the layer zero, so really help interoperability. We'll see where that goes. I'm interested in seeing what EigenLayer is going to do with this, but if they do anything at all with it. But that being said, I do think that takes a huge step forward with to really address Ethereum issues. Now, of course, there are other blockchains. I think Solana is probably a good example. All right, they're not EVM compatible, right? But at the end of the day, they don't have to deal with this kind of fragmentation issue. So it's you guess you can say in a way Ethereum is experiencing their own successive high quality issue, right, when it comes to fragmentation, because so many blockchains are building on top of it, since that's their choice for their base mother layer chain, right? So in a way, you can say it's a high quality problem. It's not a localized problem. Right. All right, so hopefully these three different pieces of information that I've highlighted today really helps you understand where the liquidity is going. Of course, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, these specific three ones are here to stay, period. And I think that these three, we're going to see a lot of new liquidity start pouring in. And I've also seen that a lot of layer two on Ethereum layer two chains are definitely going to be able to profit from not only the spot Ethereum ETFs, but also because of we have this new ERC 7683 token standard, as well as the new stablecoin planted on Solana. And sooner or later, we're probably going to see that PYUSD stablecoin available on other chains. I just can't wait to see what they're going to do. Most likely in Ethereum layer one, so that they can actually port that to layer twos. So I have no doubt, but I'm just surprised that they actually choose to deploy Solana first instead of Ethereum first. So that's something really interesting to look into. That being said, liquidity. We are having more liquidity, and that's exactly what we need to go parabolic, especially now a lot of people start making money off Bitcoin, then they funnel to Ethereum, to other alts. We're going to see everything go parabolic rise. All right, so that's my spiel for this specific section. Let's jump into the Q&A section. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put up your hand. I'll pass over the mic. Let me just take a quick look and see if anyone has requested mic. Here we go.
My question is, your vision and mission are good according to the website. Wherever it requires significant amount of user traffic, be long-term viable of your project brand mission at front. Thank you.
Okay, unfortunately, your mic is very muffled. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to tell what you said, but I did hear specific nouns that you mentioned. You said website. You mentioned you mentioned small investor. I heard that in the first round. If I were to I think that probably if I were to formulate an answer, just kind of based on what the few nouns that I heard, I think that if you're just an investor, if you're not a trader, and you just have a small little amount of liquidity, I think you definitely would want to take a look into the savings of products, as well as the we have a new SharkFin product out that gives you minimum 8% yield. You also have the new POS staking products that just came out, especially these new prize pools. So I couldn't help but notice. I actually heard a sheep in the back of your background of your mic. So if you're living in the rural area and something where you can actually have cool farm, I think that's amazing. But every little dollar goes a long way. And that being said, I really think you should really take advantage of these new savings and staking products, because even if it means you win a small slice of the $6,000 cash rewards, or even the small slice of 66,000 US dollar prize reward, it goes a long way, right? Probably buy a bunch of new sheep for that. I would love to have some sheep. Unfortunately, I live in the city. That it is what it is. But thank you very much for asking. Do you have any other questions? Feel free to put your hands up and press the mic. I'll be sure to pass it over. All right, here we go. Yeah, so you do have the mic, David. Go ahead. if you're there.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, David, loud and clear. Go ahead, ask your question.
My question: what role does your token play in your ecosystem, and what are the benefits of long-term holding?
Okay, David, I'm not sure if you're aware what's going on, but I'm not a project. I don't have a token. This is an education AMA purely for your second opinion purposes, going over the market today. But that being said, like if you do want to go over a token, I guess that'd be like the exchange's XU token. That being said, it does provide just similar to a lot of like exchange tokens out there. You get discount on your trading. Whenever you buy and sell, you get a smaller discount. I think it was like 20 or 30% something discount. So that's like a big one. Believe the company is also trying to build their own chain right now. I think it's called the XSC chain, and it does take advantage of the XC token as the main native asset for that blockchain. So if that's something they're interested, definitely go check it out. All right, thank you very much for asking a question. That being said, okay, I don't see any new active people who are not AFK. So, but that being said, thank you very much, everyone, for listening in today's AMA. Hopefully, my analysis and report into this week's crypto market has really helped you out. Hopefully, gave you a second opinion. Definitely, at the end of the day, do your homework. That being said, huge thank you, everyone. Like I said, to join today's Twitter Space. Until the next AMA, most likely next Wednesday, I'll be sure to choose some interesting educational topics then. Definitely stay curious until then and keep learning. Have a good one, guys.